I'm Adam Goldfein. Thank you so much for joining us. For the next 2 hours, we're going to be informing you about a number of changes to the law here in Georgia, changes that you need to be informed about that affect your driver's license and could affect your ability to drive should you be arrested or pulled over for driving under the influence. Now, in the studio with me today, I have Jennifer Ammons, who is the General Counsel of the Department of Driver Services. She is the lead attorney for driver's licenses. So we've got the absolute expert in the studio today answering any of the questions that we have about our driver's license. I'm also being joined by William Head, who is a partner in Head, Thomas, Webb, and Willis Attorneys at Law here in Atlanta, affectionately known as Bubba Head. Bubba is probably the nation's leading DUI defense attorney, so it's wonderful to have the two of you here. Thank you guys for coming down on a hot Saturday to spend time with me.
Thank you very much for having us.
My pleasure.
All right, so let's get right into it. First things first, there is a new driver's license, a secure driver's license and secure ID card. And this is a law, Jennifer, that goes into effect tomorrow, right, on July 1st.
That's right.
All right, so tell us a little bit about it. Why the change?
Well, we're implementing these changes as part of the state's following along with the Secure ID Act that was passed by Congress in 2005. From the customer's perspective, we're just going to be asking for a little bit of extra documentation. We've done a lot of work behind the scenes to make the cards that we issue more secure, to make our processes more secure, to make our facilities more secure. So
what are we making more secure? Is it that we know who we're giving a driver's license to?
That's part of it. We're making sure that folks are who they say they are. It's a way to prevent identity theft.
Okay.
It also is a way for us to protect homeland security. As you may know, all of the 9/11 hijackers had been able to get driver's licenses and identification cards issued by state agencies, thankfully not Georgia. And it definitely the genesis of all of this was from the 9/11 Commission's work.
So it's a way almost of running and making sure we're running everyone through the system and that we're validating and verifying who they are.
We're making sure we know exactly who everyone is and that they are who they say they are and that they should be driving on Georgia's roads.
Okay, so if I have my license, which I got a number of years ago, so everybody who's listening who's driving right now, and I have a valid driver's license on me, and we'll talk about whether or not it has to be on you or not, but I have my valid driver's license on me, does that mean I have to go into driver services and get a new card?
It will eventually mean that, but not now. Everybody's card that was issued before the effective date tomorrow is still completely valid. It's not going to change the expiration date of your license. What we will ask is the next time you need to come in and do a renewal or conduct some other business with us, we're going to ask you to bring in your documents so that we can make sure that you are who you say you are.
And what are those documents? What do I have to bring now?
Well, for most folks, it's the same stuff that you've always brought us. For a Georgia resident, a Georgia citizen, someone like me who was born here in Atlanta, I would need a certified copy of my Georgia birth certificate or my United States passport.
Okay.
2 documents to prove my residency, like a utility bill or a lease. And then also we're going to need documentation showing your Social Security number, like your Social Security card. It's as simple as that.
And if I don't have a Social Security card, what are the other optional things? Because this is obviously skirting around the issues of citizenship and right to work and everything else that's kind of now being linked to the ability or the legal permission or legal privilege, I should say, to drive.
Well, to be honest with you, that's actually something that Georgia law has been mindful of for a very long time. People don't really realize, unless you've worked in the industry, that we've actually had a lawful presence requirement to be able to issue a driver's license or identification card since 1994. Wow. So that part of the puzzle is nothing new for DDS. That's something we've been doing for almost 20 years. Since 2008, customers have been bringing us their immigration documentation, and we've actually used an online system through the Department of Homeland Security to verify that since 2008. So from the non-citizen's perspective, as long as they're lawfully present and have the documentation to show that, the process for them is going to be just exactly what it is today. When
tomorrow.
It goes into effect tomorrow. Yeah,
right.
Tomorrow
So
will be just
tomorrow.
like today. Exactly
Okay.
for the same for them. They're still going to need to bring their immigration documents with them.
Mm-hmm.
We'll still validate all of that documentation. We will ask them for the 2 forms of proof of residency. Right now it's just one. We're just going to ask everybody to bring a second one.
Okay.
And then with the Social Security number, a lot of folks who are lawfully present in the United States are authorized by the federal government to work, and so they have a Social Security number.
Sure.
Those who are not authorized to work, we've been working with the Social Security Administration for many, many years, probably 7 or 8 years, dealing with customers with that exact issue, because collecting Social Security information is something we've done for a long time. And so that all of that functionality, all that policy is already in place. They know their procedures. We've got our procedures. There's not going to be a big impact there. There's documentation that you can get if that's how your immigration status leaves you.
All right, here's what I want to do. I want to open up the phone lines. If anybody does have any questions regarding their driver's license from the standpoint of what the changes are, what the new law is, you're welcome to give us a shout, 404-872-0750. Also talking about how it affects legal and illegal residents in the state of Georgia. And then we want to get into, obviously, the DUI and some of the changes, because we have this one body of law that's enacted and starting tomorrow, July 1st, that's going to affect the secure driver license cards. And now they have, what, a little star?
That's right.
Up top in the right-hand corner if they've been secure.
That's right. That's the indicator for law enforcement, and more importantly for TSA, because that's really the big federal aspect of it, is that as states are implementing the provisions of the Real ID Act, we're going to be marking our cards with that star, and that's how the TSA will know that it is a card.
So all the other states will have the star also, you mean? Is that the mark?
Well, that is the mark that all of the states that are going to be complying with Real ID are going to be using.
Is the star.
Is the star. Exactly the same for everybody.
I know, it's good. I'm just it's curious. Now, if what do I do? And here's one of the questions I'm sure somebody will have. It's Tuesday or Friday of next week. Oh, my license is expired. I did it online last time. Now I've got to go in to DDS, right? I can't do it online anymore because it's expired and we have this new law in place. Is that
That's
correct?
We are not doing online renewals for customers, and at this time, once we've got customers who have been through the Secure ID process, the next time that they renew, they can use the online functionality. And we're still allowing folks to do address changes and replace lost licenses through our website. But renewals, you will have to come in and see us.
Well, that's actually kind of nice, because if I was applying for the let's say I lost it, well, that's kind of nice. I wouldn't have sculpted it that way. I would have been like, oh, anytime we have to reissue, I'd be like, come on in, who are you? So I think that's generous of you. And if it is expired, and I show up after the fact, what if I don't have my stuff?
Well, we've thought about that. We're doing everything that we can to make sure that folks find out about it. Hopefully you're hearing our public service announcements. You're seeing things in the newspaper. And we're doing everything we can to get the information out there. There's a lot of information on our website. If you do show up without your documents and you are an existing customer, what we'll do is we'll issue you a temporary over-the-counter interim card that's valid for 120 days, give you a chance to go home, dig through your lockbox,
because I'm thinking to myself, what do I do, right?
Yeah.
Because so many people are going to wait to the very last minute,
right? And
then they're going to be driving with an invalid license.
Well, hopefully folks are mindful of checking their license on their birthday every year, just like you make sure that you've got your vehicle registration up to date. Just check that license and make sure that your license hasn't expired. And if you do expire and you're coming back in next week, just reach into your lockbox, reach into your file cabinet, grab that the birth certificate or your U.S. passport, grab your 2 most recent utility bills, and come on in and see us. We'll be happy to take care of you.
Is there any time? Yes, just one last question, Bob. Is there any time that I can't come in? Can I come in 30 days before it expires, 60 days before it expires? Can I come in now if it expires next year? What's the limit?
The window that we have looking prospectively is 150 days. So if you're within 150 days of the date that your license or your ID card is set to expire, you're welcome to come in and take care of your business now at your convenience at a time that works for you. So there, as long as it's within that window, we're glad to have you come in and take care of it.
Yeah, Bubby.
I wanted to say that some elderly people, I don't remember what the age is, they are exempt from having to go through this process, and I don't know what that age is. Is it 65 or 70?
What we're looking at is folks who were born prior to January the 1st of 1940. If they are able to bring in DD-214 from their military service, or there's a letter that you can get from the Social Security Administration, it's called a pneumodent record. That's where the Social Security Administration has kept track of your identity for as long as you've been registered with them. Folks who were born prior to 1940, they can get either of those 2 documents, and they're good to go. All we would need in addition to that is just the 2 forms of proof of residency. Now, with our ladies that have taken their husband's surname after they've gotten married, we would also need a certified copy of the marriage license. Same thing if your name has changed because of an adoption or a divorce.
I was going to ask you, what about going the other way?
Right, same thing.
Some go in, some come out.
Same thing. We just would need the certified documentation that proves that. And that's something that you that you probably have in the same file cabinet or the same lockbox, that your birth certificate is in. They're if you're like me, they're all stuck in the same manila file folder. You just grab that whole thing and walk out the door. If you have questions about what to bring with you, our website, we've created a wonderful checklist that each person can go onto the website, www.dds.ga.gov, dds.ga.gov. Click on the Secure ID link, and you can create a personalized checklist that will help you go find what you need, make sure that you have what you need, so you walk in the door, you're ready to go.
Yeah, now we link to you, just so you know, on WSBradio.com. So if anybody wants to go there, click under traffic, and you'll see all the other requirements there. Let's take a couple quick questions if we can, right? 404-872-0750. I'm Adam Goldfein here with you Monday through Friday, 8 to 10, and on Saturdays from 1 to 3. Don in Alpharetta, you're up first. Hey, Don. I'm doing just fine. What's your question? No, I understand. I mean, look, the reality is that you have all different types of agencies and all different types of connections that each of us have. If you've gotten a carry permit, you may have been, let's say, fingerprinted that way. If let's say you're an attorney, you may have been fingerprinted that way. There are lots of things that people, one way or the other, have a connection with the government. You may have a driver's license, you may have a pilot's license, you may have a CDL license. There are all different agencies that do things. So we all feel that we have that kind of connection, but I don't think blending the line and pointing the finger affects one thing or the other. Real fast, if I can, Jennifer, enough people to handle it? His real core question?
We have added new personnel to our customer service centers. We're making sure that we've got folks in there in those hours that our core folks want to be there. We're going to do everything we can to get you what you need.